Hello again, everybody. It's time for a new season here on the St. Louis American Sports Break. The 2018-19 season was a great one. We wrapped it up in fine style, and now we're ready for another exciting year of high school sports in 2019, heading into 2020. And of course, high school football begins this weekend, and it's going to be a tough act to follow in the St. Louis area. Last year, we had an unprecedented array of success, with 4 teams winning state championships and 2 teams finishing as state runners-up. So it's going to be a tough act to follow, but we got a lot of great athletes, a lot of great teams, and we'll see what we can do. And it'll start Friday. I'll make my first appearance at Jennings High School on Friday afternoon as the McCluer Comets will take on the Jennings Warriors. Then there are 5 other big games to look at this week. At St. Charles County on Friday night at 7, it'll be Fort Zumwalt North High School visiting Francis Howell. These 2 teams played a great game last year. I was at this one, went into overtime with Fort Zumwalt North defeating Francis Howell. The rematch should be just as exciting. Everything else is going to be on Saturday. On Saturday at noon, it'll be De Smet at Hazelwood Central. The Smet team that finished 9-3 last year returned much of their great talent, and they expect to be one of the top teams in Class 6 this year, led by Jordan Johnson, who's headed to Notre Dame, outstanding receiver, while Hazelwood Central is an excellent team out of the Suburban 12 Conference, Old Suburban North, a perennial power in North County. A couple of our area's top teams will be out of town in Chicago, facing some tough competition. Cardinal Ritter College Prep, the team which finished 2nd in the Class 3 state tournament last year, they'll head north to play Chicago Nazareth, a powerhouse program which won a Class 7 state championship last year. That game is at 4 p.m. And East St. Louis, the #1 ranked team in our area going into the season, will take on Batavia at 7 o'clock on Saturday evening. Both teams are loaded and ready to make big runs in their particular state tournament. Batavia was a Class 7A state semifinalist. East St. Louis should be a big contender this year as well under Coach Darren Sunkett. And the big game here in town on Saturday night, everybody will be at this one. It'll be Trinity Catholic at Lutheran North, Saturday at 7 o'clock. These 2 teams had an epic battle a couple of years ago at Lutheran North in a district championship game, which Lutheran North won 48-46. Both of these teams are state contenders, Trinity in Class 3, where they are the defending state champions, and Lutheran North in Class 2, where they were state semifinalists. Should be a great one. And to keep up with all these great games and all the great athletes, you can also follow my Twitter at Earl Austin Jr., #EarlTimeUpdate. And of course, with the St. Louis American Sport Break, we also bring out the first edition of the St. Louis American Shoutouts. And we have 3 people to recognize in the last couple of weeks, so we had some beautiful stuff happening here. First of all, young man Justin Robinson. You followed him throughout the year, the young track and field star from Hazelwood West. He's going to be a senior now, but remember he led Hazelwood West to a state championship as a junior, but that was just the beginning for him. He went to Costa Rica and was the Pan Am Games champion in the under 20 in the 400-meter dash, and then he went to the Pan American Senior Games in Peru, Lima, Peru, where he was the bronze medalist in the 400-meter dash, and he anchored, or not anchored, but ran the 3rd leg on the USA's 4x400-meter relay, which finished at 2nd for a silver medal. This young man's 17 years old, already getting it done in international competition. Justin Robinson, the best is still yet to come from this brilliant young Hazelwood West sprinter. Also, Cameron Fletcher, young man out of Vashon High School, and one of the top basketball players in the state of Missouri. He gave a commitment to the University of Kentucky. Yes, John Calipari comes to St. Louis and plucks one of the top players from the St. Louis metropolitan area. Cameron's a 6'7" forward, averaged 17 points a game, helped lead Vashon to a Class 3 state championship last year. He's a great player. Get out to see him. And finally, a young lady who we've been watching play and now a great coach. Her name is Niele Ivey. She was a great player at Koryezu Academy in the mid-90s, went on to have success at Notre Dame game, not only as a player, as on a national championship team, but as an associate head coach for the last 12 years, especially a national championship team last year. Well, Niele has just been promoted. She'll be added to the staff of the Memphis Grizzlies of the National Basketball Association. It's been a wave of young ladies, women who have been hired as assistant coaches in the NBA. Niele becomes the 9th woman and the first for St. Louis. A tremendous honor and well-deserved. Niele is a great coach and will do a great job for the Memphis Grizzlies. Fantastic. So continued success and congratulations to Justin Robertson, Cameron Fletcher, and Niele Ivey, our St. Louis American shout-outs. Well, we're looking forward to a great year of high school sports in the St. Louis metropolitan area in 2019-2020. It's going to be exciting, as always, but we're going to change gears and finish this segment on a very unfortunate and somber note. Of course, last week was the unofficial beginning of high school sports. We had high school football jamborees all over the St. Louis metropolitan area. I attended the one at Parkway North High School, which was very good at the beginning, but was marred by unfortunate instances, which ended up at pandemonium and very tough to watch. And then across town at Soldan High School, outside of the jamboree, at the end of the games, you had more pandemonium fights, and down the block, a shooting, which a young lady, Jurnee Thompson, only 8 years old, lost her life in another act of senseless violence. So 34 years of covering high school sports, this was probably the worst night of my career. This type of behavior is unacceptable, cannot happen. St. Louis, we have to do better. Stay tuned. We're going to keep following high school sports on the St. Louis American every Thursday, and check us out online, www.stlamerican.com.